Have you ever thought about your taxes? Have you ever thought about your wealth? Have you thought about your finances, especially as they relate to your business? I know I have, and there's so many times it's like, oh, you got a new client, the profit margin's this, we're bringing on new employees. There's all these different things going on in the business. I want to sponsor this event. I want to get my book done so I have something to give out at the event. Good idea. And it's like, what do you do with all of this behind the scenes after the fact? And I, honest to God, have one of the best people on earth here. And yeah, I see you. I'm bringing you up. There are so many people who talk about finances, but I would say if you don't have someone you can trust that really has a heart for it and knows what they're doing, I invite you to get to know Tim better because I've had the pleasure of knowing him for a while now. He's one of the few people I invited back for a second time, and these are the reasons why. And I'm going to get through this before I bring him up and get choked up, but he's probably one of the closest people in my life. He knows what the hell he's talking about, and you need to listen to what he's going to share because I remember the first time we connected, I literally was like, you are sharing stuff I've never heard in my entire life, let alone for business. So listen up. We're going to be talking about elite wealth planning, and I'm going to bring him up right after we thank the sponsor, Tim McNeely. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Tim McNeely. Tim, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling amazing now that I am here with you, Mario.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm excited for you to be here to help everyone share some of the stuff that you were telling me about, like investment consulting and, how to do tax mitigation. Why are these things so important, not just for everyone, but successful entrepreneurs?
As a successful entrepreneur, you spend your day building and growing companies. You spend your time getting more done in a 24-hour period than many people get done in a week or a month, right? You are moving at warp speed. And so often what gets lost and what gets missed is the personal side of wealth planning. You're creating amazing wealth in your companies, but you've never tied it back into the personal side of things. And we see this all the time. And in fact, in the latest study that we just completed with Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, 93.8% of entrepreneurs, you listening right now, you have some kind of error lurking in your wealth plans. You're overpaying in taxes. Your assets aren't protected the way they should be. You have your trust and estate and your wealth transfer isn't set up properly. And that's costing you time, it's costing you money, and it's costing you confidence in your stance. And that's why getting this right is so important.
96%, huh?
93.8%.
93.8. How is it that high for successful people?
Isn't that shocking, Mario? Right? Right? That's 9 out of 10. Over 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs have some kind of errors. And the reason is, as an entrepreneur, you have complicated financial lives. I was sitting down with someone last night going through a discovery meeting, and we're looking at the businesses that they've created, and we're looking at the real estate that we own. And it's like, well, we got one property, two properties. We had like seven properties that we're going through. We've got about eight different businesses that they've started. We've got exit strategies. We've got cash that's going on. We've got investment management. We've got all the estate planning, all the LLCs, how everything ties together, the insurance portfolio, like all of that adds to complexity. And often people who don't live in this world, you think, oh, having a whole bunch of money must be really nice. No, having a whole bunch of money is actually kind of stressful sometimes, unless you have a coordinated team helping you make those choices. And that's why it's the complication is what leads to 93.8% of entrepreneurs having some kind of errors lurking in their wealth plans.
You're talking about this team. Can you just go to the store and pick them up? How do you build this team?
Yeah, you just head down to the 7-Eleven or your grocery store
I was
and
thinking
you
the
get
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree. Usually you get this team because like you hired a CPA when you first started your business, and then like someone told you should go meet with this insurance person, and you met with them, and then a couple years later, maybe you did some estate work with an attorney. And so you kind of got some people in your Rolodex that you've talked to, but no one actually is talking to each other, and you really don't have deep relationships with anyone. So most people, you have a team that's a mess. So how do you really find a team? Well, you do it the way I did. You go out into the community and you find the best of the best. You find the best tax people. You find the best investment people. You find the best estate planning attorneys, the best insurance, the best business consultants and value accelerators, the best at merchant processing and whatever else your business may need. And you spend hours and hours vetting people, talking to them, finding out that they share your values, that they're ethical, that they produce results, and you build up a team of about 45 to 50 people that you can bring in. So you can certainly do that, or you can just give me a call. But that's how I did it, is I went out into the community, conducted interview after interview after interview. And in fact, that's what led to my podcast. That's really an interview for my professional network in the virtual family office that I run. So you can get out there, you can vet everyone yourself, or you can just hire a team and someone who already has it if you want the shortcut.
I'm surprised by this. I know it would be easier to not have to do it all on your own and vet all the people, but you said 45, really that many?
Oh, if not more. So it's amazing the experts that you may require in your wealth planning. And it's not all related to wealth. Sometimes it's just a great mortgage broker who can help you get that loan, or sometimes it's having a connection to a concierge doctor and some of
Hmm.
the best people who are doing longevity and planning, or you need someone who can help with a one-off issue. So you need those team members, and sometimes you don't need them until you need them. So best to have the network and work with an advisor who can bring those people to you immediately instead of you having to wait around and try to find these people.
How important is concierge medicine nowadays, now that you're bringing it up?
So people, you're living too long. Like I know that sounds crazy. And you're thinking, oh, wait, how are we living too long? Well, that's why we actually have a retirement crisis in this country. Is longevity has increased, but you know what necessarily hasn't increased is your quality of life. And so I believe concierge medicine is one of the most important investments that you can make. Right? You want access to care. Like, gonna get a little political, a little controversial here, but like our healthcare system, the healthcare system you were in, it's broken because doctors, they get paid when you get sick. It is sick care. It's not health care. Concierge medicine flips that. You start paying for longevity, you start paying for results, you start paying for a doctor to actually prevent things. That's what you start compensating a concierge doctor for. And once you start aligning compensation with outcomes, things change. So concierge medicine, huge different, especially as you start getting older and you require the services of a doctor more. Like if I need something, I pick up my phone and I call my doctor and it's taken care of. Like there's so much peace of mind in that. And once again, for busy entrepreneurs, it's about speed, it's about time, it's about money, it's about confidence. What concierge medicine gives you.
Yeah, because the convenience factor of it too. They're coming to you. You're not sitting in a waiting room with 20 other sick people just wasting your time, hoping, and then it's another 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, next day appointments. They're on the cutting edge of a lot of the medicine that's going on. You get better results, you get outcomes because once again, the doctor's being compensated to actually prevent disease, not just treat it.
That's a great point because I don't know anyone who wants to be sicker.
But think about it, right? And I don't want to knock doctors out there, right? Especially ones who are lost in the system. The system is what's broken because the system compensates you as a doctor when you treat sickness. You get treated when you get paid when you treat cancer. You don't get paid for preventing cancer. Our entire system is broken.
So now that we're living longer and we have concierge doctors and concierge medicine to enjoy the time, not go half our life sick, how are we going to fund this whole thing?
The funding, such a great question. Well,
I
I
like
could
the
tell you,
first three letters of it.
I'm going to tell you, maybe it's a Social Security, but it probably isn't. That's probably not going to fund your lifestyle, especially if you're a driven entrepreneur, especially in the DSO world. That's where I've had the privilege of building my careers within dentistry. But this is applicable to everyone out there, even if you're not a dentist. But really, the way you're going to fund it is through equity ownership in your business. It's going to be through creating an incredibly valuable business. It's going to be built day by day, you putting something, you solving problems. And it's the equity that you unlock, it's the value creation that you put in the marketplace. That's how you're going to fund the future. That's how you're fund what's next. Now, certainly along the way, you're going to save some of that money. You're going to diversify. You're going to take chips off the table and put it into 401ks and defined benefit plans and cash balance plans and captive insurance. You're going to take money off the table, but it really is going to be the wealth creation that you've done in your business that helps fund your future.
I love that you can, how you're saying this. So you take the money, make a successful business, take the proceeds from it, and use that to fund all of this. Could you
Oh,
break down
absolutely.
what captive insurance is?
So, sure, we'll get a little technical, but essentially, captive insurance is an insurance company that you own, you operate to cover risk that aren't covered in the traditional insurance marketplace. So, think back to the COVID days. I've done a lot of therapy to try to forget those days. I've had a lot of counseling, but let's go back there for a moment, right? A lot of insurance companies did pay out on those claims. Well, if you had a captive insurance company, a company that you own, that you operated, all of a sudden supply chain interruption, it was covered because you had a policy in your insurance company to cover those supply chain interruptions. You had a policy to cover business interruption. So that's what a captive does, is it protects you from risks that you typically don't insure in the traditional marketplace. It's a great strategy for the right business at the right time at the right place. So it's essentially a way for you to own and operate an insurance company, pay premiums to yourself, and be protected against losses that typically aren't covered.
Would one of those losses be if someone doesn't like what you post on social media, no matter what it is? Like, a picture of a rock and it says, hey, I know you're going to argue over this either way.
Cancel culture is real. And right, you say the wrong things, you do something that everyone hates, and your business can be shut down overnight. I think of the doctor who went hunting in Africa. Now, don't support it. I think it's awful what he did, but the backlash against him shut down his practice when he went lion hunting in Africa. That's brand reputation risk. And yes, a captive can absolutely help protect against that so that you are protected and you have some shelter against doing something like that.
Well, I appreciate you elaborating on that because I don't think I had heard about it before you had told me. And I have a feeling there's going to be someone listening to this and watching it going, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that existed. I actually am dealing with a problem right now.
Yeah, or in the dental world, this is interesting too, is a lot of times dentists will put in an insurance program to cover the dentistry that they do. It's a dental warranty program. The simplest, easiest way for you to think about this, you ever bought a car? What do they try to sell you when you
Extended
walk out?
warranty.
They go, would you like to buy an extended warranty for your car? Well, all the auto dealer does is they take that money that you give them and they throw them in a captive insurance company. They throw them in an insurance company they own, they operate, they manage. That's what the extended warranty is. That's all the auto dealer is doing,
Really?
95% of the time. That's a captive insurance company.
That's a great example, and I had no clue.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Um, Talk to me about investment consulting.
Investment consulting, the pie chart, right? Mario, this is what every advisor out there talks about. They love to talk their investments and they show you the pretty pie chart and they talk about diversification, like super important. Like that matters. That is the cornerstone for your investment plan. But that's not the only story. It's what 100% of advisors do. Some do it much better than others, but there's other really big areas. So yes, investment consulting matters, but I'm going to argue it's not the only piece of the puzzle that matters for
What's
driven
the other
business.
pieces of the puzzle that matter?
Thank you for asking that. The other piece of the puzzle that matters so much is what I call advanced planning. This is the advice for you that goes beyond the investment portfolio. This is how do you mitigate your taxes? How do you get your tax bill down? This is how do you protect everything that you've worked so hard for from being unjustly taken from lawsuit or divorce or some other unjust means. It's how do you get your assets to the next generation and the people you care about? How do you transfer your wealth? And then lastly, how do you support the causes that you're passionate about, right? And then how do you tie it together in a cohesive plan? That's the advanced planning piece. And for example, this is where incredible value can be added. You may have an investment advisor trying to tell you they can get you an extra 0.5% or 1% on your portfolio. Incredible. Great. Like you should do that. Not saying don't ignore that. That's important. But let's take a look at that. Let's say you've got, 2 million bucks in there and you get an extra what, 20 grand a year? Like awesome, wonderful. I'll take it all day long. But when we go to sell your business that's been valued at 15, $20 million, if we can save you 10%, 20% in taxes, like that's real money in your pocket that's going to outshine an extra 1% or 0.5% a year on your investment portfolio. That really moves the needle. Keeping an extra 500,000, $2 million in your net worth because you haven't had to pay in taxes, or even through value acceleration and moving your business so that you've got best in class EBITDA when you sell, game changers that are going to far outshine investment performance any day of the week.
How do you know if it's a good EBITDA or not?
This is a whole value conversation, and it starts with you got to understand your industry, you've got to understand your business, you need to know where it fits, and then you really work on trying to build best in class EBITDA, and that's where you compare your business to best in class businesses, and you really work on trying to shift that multiple up so that when you exit, you're not getting 4 times, maybe you're getting 5 times, or maybe you've really built some systems and now you're able to get 6 or 7 or 8. And that's what building best in class EBITDA is all about. It's how do you accelerate the value of your business so that you get a higher multiple and a higher price when you exit.
What are some other components of advanced planning that entrepreneurs should be doing specifically in dentistry?
So the biggest one that I see doctors get killed on all the time, this is wealth enhancement. This is the tax mitigation piece that gets ignored, right? The more money that you can save from taxes, the more money that you've got to fulfill your dreams, to reinvest in your business, to take even better care of the people you love, the causes you care about, and for you to make a meaningful impact. So the tax planning piece often gets ignored. And it gets ignored because they're working with an advisor who you've typically known for years, and you think, eh, things are okay. And we believe this myth that okay is good enough. And the truth is, you really need to take responsibility and you have to have a proactive team who's going to be bringing you solutions so that you can mitigate taxes. So I see the tax piece ignored all the time.
How often should people be checking it?
Oh, the tax piece, you should be looking at it at the middle of the year, last quarter of the year, and then the beginning of the year, right? These are ongoing things because your business changes throughout the year, and you absolutely should be doing last quarter planning to do projections, but you need to start before that too, so that you know like what that last quarter is going to look like because there's strategies and tactics that you may have not put in place. And it's not enough to set them up by December 31st. Some of these things you need to be setting up in September or June or July. So you really need to be paying attention to what's going on. And you really want that expert team that you and I were talking about at the beginning of the show.
Now, if something big changes in your business or life, is that a cause of concern too? Not just the everyday, monthly, quarterly, and stuff like that? Like, what if you open up 3 new locations?
Yeah, so the changes that you want to pay attention to, right? Opening up three locations actually may be the norm for you, right? If you're in high growth mode, you may open up three locations every month. And right, that's just part of the business plan. But if all of a sudden you're thinking, hey, we've got three, we want to go to six, like how do we do that? Review those plans. If you're considering taking on debt or figuring out how to finance that, or what the capital structure looks like, that's worth a review. Or maybe you have a divorce that you're facing, unfortunately. That's time for review. Or you have a death of a partner or a change in the partnership, or even other all structures where you think, man, I'm getting a little tired. Like what's my business actually worth? It can I exit? Like if you're having those thoughts, it's worth doing a review. It's worth looking at.
So the milestones to me, it sounds like more they're more anchored to stuff that's happening in your life that's out of the norm.
Yeah, that's a great catch, Mario. So, right, when you set up your wealth plans, you're certainly going to have targets that you're driving to. You're going to have your regular reviews that you should be doing, but you also want to be sensitive to what life throws at you because as things change, as the unexpected pop up, you want to be prepared to roll with that, and you want to be able to make those changes for the things that you're not expecting, and you won't be that have taken into account the unexpected also.
So whether you wanted to open up multiple new locations or maybe just one or two or whatever the case is, let's say new locations, okay, cool. That sounds like a time to change it. But also, what if I want to redo the operatories?
Yeah. Well, so those are things your business advisor should be looking at with you. Those are things your CPA or your consultant or your practice consultant should be reviewing and looking at. You should be able to model that and figure out like what's my ROI. Once again, another major mistake I see are doctors do things without considering what is your ROI? Like, is it actually worth investing in? And is it going to produce a result? Sometimes it's just, oh, I want some new chairs because my old ones are broken. Well, okay, like maybe you can repair the old ones. Like is it worth it? Like what are you going to get out of this? And is it a true exit value that's going to add a multiple for you? Or is it just a cost? Like, why are you doing these things? And that's where really having good advice and the right team of advisors to help you move forward matters.
What would you say to someone who says, well, I think I'm already on track?
Oh, I would say fantastic. I am excited for you and congratulations that you believe you are on track. Fantastic. Let's go back to the medical world. I think I'm on track in my health. I really do. But you know what? Every single year, I show up for my wellness exam. I show up at my doctor's office. He runs blood, he checks the numbers, does all the stuff. And then I usually get a call about a week later. He says, hey, Tim, great news. You're fine. See you again next year. And you know what? That is a fantastic, fantastic result. I love those results. And I'm not looking forward to the day where it's something else because that day will come, right? You're all going to get that call one day where everything's not okay. But what I will be glad of is that I caught it early. I will be glad that I've been doing annual reviews. I will be glad that my doctor knows me and has a relationship and says, hey Tim, we just noticed something that's a little off. Like we should check this. We should make sure you're okay. And the same is true for your wealth plannings. You may absolutely believe that you are set and you are okay, but I would tell you take a playbook out of the super rich. Do what family offices do and run a stress test on your plans. This is what President Ronald Reagan taught us. Trust but verify. And by doing that, you're going to be able to catch those errors before they become big things. And once again, coming back to the data and the study that we just did with Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach, 93.8% of entrepreneurs, you have some kind of errors lurking. So even if you think you're set, you're probably not. 9 out of 10 of you have some kind of errors lurking in your plans. So catch those, get a second opinion, run a stress test, and that's what you should do. Even if you're set, trust but verify.
How much could those be worth if you don't catch them and don't do the stress test?
Oh, it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, Mario, especially as your net worth grows, right? The higher net worth you have, the more important this is because an error in your insurance coverage or your tax planning strategies or under calculating what you think inflation rates are or not getting the returns that you should be getting on your portfolio all of those little things really start to add up. The higher net worth you have, the more of an impact a small error has, right? 1% of $100,000, that's $1,000. 1% of $1 billion, that's a whole lot bigger number. So the higher your net worth, the more important this stress testing becomes, because you want to catch those errors, because they actually have outsized impacts on you.
Now, now that we're saving more money, and I appreciate the advice on that because you're absolutely right. 1%, you go, it might not be a big amount, but I mean, what happens if you're in a boat, car, plane, or whatever, and you're off 1%, 1 degree, whatever the case is? All this extra money. What if you want to give it to a charitable organization and you go, I don't know if we have that type of money. I don't know if we have that left this year, maybe next year, when the reality is, what if you do and you just don't realize it?
Yeah, right. And I love that you bring that up, Mario, right? This is where, once again, stress testing comes in, because you can tie back your charitable intentions to a tax planning. You can get amazing results. You can mitigate the taxes that you pay, and you can do this and couple it with an exit sale. You can reduce the amount of money you're going to pay in taxes when you sell your business. You can set up a fund that you can give from, and you can reduce your taxes. Like, these are all win-win-wins, but you got to have a plan. You got to look at how everything fits together cohesively and systematically, which once again gets ignored. Everyone piecemeals things, and very few people look at things systematically and holistically.
How many people would you say could be doing more charitable gifting?
In my mind, every single one of us can be doing more charitable gifting. But that's how I think. But you have to be charitably inclined. This has to be something that comes from your heart, not out of duty, not because you just want to, give a little. Like these have to be things that you truly, truly believe in. So, how many of us? I don't know how many of us that are, but what I find is about 33% of the clients I work with have hearts of giving, and they want to support the organizations they care about. The other two-thirds say, man, I feel like I barely have enough. Like, I just want to take care of my family. I invest in them. I do good in the world through my business. That's how I give back. And I go, that's great, right? There's no judgment in any of this.
So you're talking about a lot of good stuff here. How do you keep track of it? I mean, we've talked about the investment consulting, the advanced planning, the charitable gifting. How, for someone who's not as experienced as you, how could we remember this?
Oh, the remembering, keeping track of it. You have to build systems, you have to build processes around wealth. The same way you have an operating system for your business, that you have systems and processes and teams, like, you got to recreate that in the financial world. You need a system to do this. The way that we do this is through planning software that we use. We do it through regular accountability. We do it through mind mapping. So we've got techniques. And the latest thing that we are using more and more, that has been a game changer, is you have to be pressing into and using artificial intelligence. This is the greatest tool out there. Now, it's going to multiply what you're good at. And so it's just like a hammer. You still have to know how to use a hammer to build a house. It's going to build it for you, but it's going to help you accelerate the pace at which you build a house. And the same is true for AI. The additional memory, the ability to scan interviews that I've done, the ability to really deliver higher level planning at scale. AI is a game changer in helping keep track of all of these things too.
Great points as always. It sounds to me as if you almost have a formula for this, don't you?
It does. And, if only I had an amazing best-selling book that covered this, called Dental Wealth Nation. Oh, wait, you and I did publish a best-selling book, Mario, called Dental Wealth Nation.
You may
And
have.
in Dental Wealth Nation, the number one best-selling book, and one that I won Author of the Year for. Thank you very much, my dear friend. In this book, we
Congrats
cover
again.
the wealth management formula. And in the wealth management formula, we lay out a process that you can use. It's the system. It's everything my wife and I learned, and I want to share that with you. And it really becomes a system for looking at the different areas in your financial life. It won't keep track of everything, but it'll at least analyze and tell you what you want to consider paying attention to.
You clearly know what you're talking about, and it's why I wanted to have you on, because I truly think you're one of the few people who has the heart, the experience, and I mean, I'm not going to go on a tirade with that, but there's a lot of people who have approached me, and I just was like, whatever. And then when you and I connected, I was like, you were different, so I appreciate you for that. Why don't you tell everyone how you got into this? Because you've obviously made it to the successful side, but did you grow up with accounting? I mean, was this something you just were born with when you were a kid? Or tell us a little bit about your origin story and how you got started in this.
Oh, I appreciate that question, Mario, and I wish I could tell you that I ended up here because of carefully calculated business plans. I wish I could tell you I was here because I did the analytics on the market and I looked at veterinarians and RV dealers and dentists and whatever kind of business owners, and that's why I ended up here was great analytics and great research. But none of that's true, Mario. I didn't end up here because of any of that. I ended up here because of love. I kid you not. It all started when I met and fell in love with a dentist. And at that time, I was an ordinary advisor. I didn't know any of the things that I'm sharing with you. And I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable in my career because I wasn't having an impact. And if you're an entrepreneur, you know exactly what this is like. You've started your companies, you run businesses because you want to change lives, you want to have an impact on the world. And as an advisor who wasn't having an impact, I was miserable because I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't really know how to help an entrepreneur build, grow, and scale wealth. And my wife and I were both miserable. I knew something needed to change. And so I did what every great entrepreneur does. I went out and I built a community. I started looking for the right team members, the people who could help me. I hired some of the best coaches in the entire industry to help me build my wealth advisory practice in a way that it would move the needle for my clients. And as Dana and I, my wife and I, started implementing these lessons that I teach you in Dental Wealth Nation, we got back to enjoying life. We had more time, we had more money, we had more confidence. But sometimes life will throw you a curveball and something that you're not ready for. Imagine not being able to hold forceps and do extractions anymore. Imagine whatever business you're in, your hands not working and you not being able to serve your clients. That's the situation Dana and I found ourselves. And we did exactly what we've been talking about on the show. We ran a stress test of our wealth plans, and guess what? We were part of the 93.8% of entrepreneurs with errors in our plan. And if it can happen to me, someone who's a professional and works in this industry every single day, well, it can happen to you too. And so my wife and I caught that error, we corrected it, and I'll never forget sitting in the doctor's office with my wife, right? Imagine being in a doctor's office, waiting for the doctor to come in and tell you if you have a future in your chosen career. What would be going through your head? Would you be worried about the future? Would you be thinking about how are you going to pay bills? Would you be arguing or fighting? Like what would be going through your head at that moment? Now, look, I don't know what any of you would be thinking at that moment, but I can tell you what Dana and I were thinking. What we were thinking, what we were feeling was we are going to be okay. I was able to look Dana in the eyes and say, babe, we got this. We've run the numbers, we've done the planning, and we know we're going to be okay. And that is really what awoke my passion in helping dental entrepreneurs was being able to take away the pressure of money, because money creates all sorts of issues. But being able to take away that pressure, and in that moment, Dana and I had more time with each other. We certainly had more riches in the sense of our community and our connection, and we had more confidence in our future. And that's what gets me up every single day, is helping make sure that you're going to be protected from the unknown, and also that you're taking advantage of all the opportunities that are available to you.
I I I love that that's what you're anchored around, because it's more than just transactions and profits and margins and different stuff. For me too, it's very much about, am I protected? Are the ones I love protected? Family, and building that legacy out. Like, what's going to happen after I'm gone?
Well, and that's why you and I are friends, Mario. You are a very heart-centered entrepreneur also. And that's the community of people that you and I have surrounded ourselves are people who absolutely love business. Like you and I geek out on marketing and business and like we love that stuff all day long. But that is not the ultimate goal of all of it. The ultimate goal is relationship. It's building friends with inside the industry. It's helping the people that you and I care about. That's what ultimate that is what is ultimate for us. The strategy, the tactics, the money, the taxes, like that's all just a mean end, and we love it, but that is not what's ultimate. It's the heart-centeredness that you and I have, and that's why you and I are friends. That's why I love being with you and hanging out with you at so many of these events.
Yeah, same here. It's been a little surreal, but I'm so glad it all happened because the people we're helping, it's just continuing to grow.
Right? How wild is that? Years ago, I showed up on your show randomly. I working with a podcast booking agency because I wanted on more shows, and I learned a little bit about what you did, and little did I know that that would lead to a book, that it would lead to something else and lead to something else, and this is what I talk about so often is the ripples of wealth, right? The ripple that you create just by you showing up and being you in your career, in your life, in your family, with your friends, like you show up and you be the best you possible and you're going to send ripples out into the world that continue to spread and spread and spread, and they'll come back and create amazing outcomes, and they're going to write a better story than you could ever write on your own.
I love that, and I'm very happy about it. I'm getting a little nostalgic here. It was 400 plus episodes ago, roughly. It wasn't like, oh, it was a little bit ago. I checked before we started here, and I'm like, holy smokes. There's something I'm about to do. I don't even think it existed when you were on because I don't even know. But I feel like we're just getting started, so that's cool.
100%.
All right, so I am going. Oh, no, I got to ask you the biggest. Who's okay? Don't tell me their name. Change the names and change the dollar amounts and whatever, and the museum with the other thing. And who's been one of your biggest success stories, and what'd you
Mm,
do for them?
mm.
I know you've got a plenty of them, but what one's on your heart right now?
I think the one and the biggest impact, it just happened. A high doctor, she's doing about $4 million a year in her practice, done very well. She was working with another advisory team that was doing investment consulting. And we started working together, and we've been working together a little over a year and a half now. And she has reached a point like many doctors do. You're tired, you're burnt out, you're exhausted, and the pressure of running a practice can be crushing, absolutely crushing. You're running staff, you've got 15, 20 employees that depend on you, you've got kids you're putting through school, right? It is a burden when it comes back to you running this thing. And because we'd been doing the planning, crunching the numbers, we were able to sit down and I was able to show her that actually you got this. Another 24 months or so, you can exit. And I got a beautiful text afterwards, and she said, "Thank you for being a rock. Thank you for being the person I can lean on in these moments, who's helping me make choices so that I can get to where I want quicker and with less effort, so that I can actually unload this burden and I can have more peace, more time to spend with my kids, to spend with my family, and to do what matters." And so to me, that is the reward, is helping you actually see what's possible. I'm very much a leader to my clients, and so many people have different definitions of leaders. I'll show you what my definition of leadership. It's two things. Number one, it's helping you dream bigger than you ever thought possible. And secondarily, it's supporting you more than you've ever been supported. That's how I view leadership, and that's what I do for my clients. I help you dream big, and then I support you more than you've ever been supported.
I love hearing that, and I didn't even know about that one. I thought there's a few I had in my mind, but I'm happy to hear you're getting more and more new ones, and I know you did. But That's what matters. You're helping her with her family and life. Okay, and by the way, cool, the business is doing better too, and that's all protected.
Yeah, absolutely. It's giving you confidence, more time, more money, more confidence.
All right, so I don't even think this existed, but it's time for the wheel of whatever.
Oh, the wheel of whatever.
Do you want yellow or black?
Yellow.
Yellow are the easy questions. Black are like your
Oh,
social number and stuff.
yeah, I want black.
Where's it
No,
going to end?
right there. I want a hard one.
Oh, no. We're going to go with that one because
All
I'm
right,
making up the rules and it's my show.
let's do it.
Um, where is AI going to be in the next decade for business?
Running cyborgs and taking over the entire world. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. I don't know.
I want
But
one. Don't joke about that.
it's a little scary. I'll just pontificate for a brief moment. Like AI actually is a little frightening. I love it. I've embraced it. I use it in so many areas of my life. It has transformed what I do. But at the same time, I see a couple of the studies that are coming out by security researchers. It's a little frightening. Like AI lies to us. Like it deceives us. It does all sorts of crazy things. So assuming we get those problems like solved and it doesn't turn into the Terminator, it's going to continue to make business even better. And my hope, my true hope is it frees us up to have more time for connection because connection is what matters, right? When you're able to show up at a meeting and talk with people and be present and know that your note taker is going to record everything for you, it enables you to just press in, be present, ask questions, and not worry to remember everything. You can just hang out and be present. So that's my hope is that the AI, the time that we reclaim with it, doesn't get repurposed into busy work, but it allows more presence with people. So that's my hope. That's what I want to see AI lead to is the ability for us to actually be even more human, not less human.
I appreciate that outlook. Yeah, it's a lot of people freaking out about it, a lot of people excited, and, you know, I think it's all going to work in our favor if we're smart about it.
Oh, 100%.
All right. Well, we're going to thank our sponsor and come back for the imperfect action round. And we are back with the imperfect action round. Tim, are you ready to take imperfect action?
I sure hope so. Let's do this.
I hope so too. What is the fastest path to the profits?
Ooh, fastest path to the profit is to solve a problem. Like that's what business is. Find a pain point, solve the pain point, you'll have the profits. Done.
Number two, what is the biggest problem you see your prospects making and the fastest way for them to fix it?
The biggest issue that I see time and time and time again is confusion. You've got too many voices, too many cooks in the kitchen. You show up at a conference and you got one CPA pitching another thing. You show up at another conference and now you got your consultant pitching something. Then you're at another conference and the attorney's telling you something. And you have no one overarching and overseeing your plans. You don't have a general contractor. Fastest way to fix that, get a general contractor who can actually handle all the subcontractors. Like get a general contractor so that you can create a vision of what you're building and then everything else falls into the place. The confusion goes away. You'll have more confidence.
And you'd be the general contractor in this example, right?
Or someone else. But yeah, typically I serve as the general contractor for my clients' financials lives.
Okay. Very cool. What is the best way to maximize customer lifetime value?
Provide an incredible service. Like that's what you have to do. Provide an incredible service. And the more you do that, and the more you make yourself indispensable to your clients because you're providing such an incredible value, why would they go anywhere else? They will stay with you for a lifetime. That's how you maximize customer value. Delight them, service them, provide value.
Always leading with truth. Love it. What books would you recommend to Expert Authority World?
Mm. The book that I am reading through right now that's having an impact on me is Minimalism. That's right, doing less, not more. It's really focusing on the essentials because as an entrepreneur, your head gets scrambled. You have so many amazing opportunities before you. So I'm really learning how to slow down and focus on just a core couple essentials. Minimalism is the book that I recommend at this moment. Next week it'll be different, but right now it's minimalism. So
I'm going to have to thank you for that one. I'm going to have to obviously recommend yours, Dental Wealth Nation here.
that's a pretty good one too. It's an
Yeah,
excellent book.
it's a very good book. Number one best-selling book. Um, I want to dive into that whole thing. What the hell am I supposed to ask you? Books, we covered that. I don't want it to end. Boo. Where would you like people to learn more?
Well, visit my podcast at the Dental Wealth Nation Show with Tim McNeely, or visit me at timmcneely.com. McNeely.com. Let's continue the conversation. Or if you got a burning question, like call or text me anytime. 818-534-4949. That is my Zoom phone. You can text, call anytime, and I will get back to you. Use me as a resource. Even if we never work together, I am a sounding board for you, and I want to help serve you so that you can make smarter choices with your money, create a bigger impact, take care of the people you love, causes you care about, change the world for the better.
I told you he was awesome, Expert Authority World. I think you're seeing it now. And I'm going to keep showing them to you. So, Tim, thank you for another great episode.
Oh, this was so fun, Mario. I love chatting with you. I love our conversations. I love the deep dives. And thank you for the work that you do of bringing experts out into the world.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. We're just getting started. All right, Expert Authority.